So this is where we left in the last video. So let's start working once again. So what I can do, let's give this comment use state and let's define a couple of states. So we'll take this account, we'll take another one, this will become ether. We'll have to take another one, this will become, let's say, network. So which network we are connected, a user is connected, so we have to get the name of the network. It's going to be a string. And let's get the width balance, and we have to get the die balance as well. So that's the use state we have taken. Let's come down, and now we have to create another use state for getting the token data, and it's going to be an array, because you have noticed in your MetaMask you will have multiple tokens. So we want to get all the tokens and we can store it into this array, and all the information that how much token a user have in his wallet, what is the name of the token, what is the balance, that's all we're going to store into this token data. So it's array now. So right now we don't have any input from which we can take the address of the token which user want to store in our application. So what I'm going to do is, for the time being, we're going to do hard code. Let me show you what I mean, just follow along with me. So we'll say add token, and in this we're going to keep all the token addresses which we want to display as a portfolio, that what is the balance of that particular token a particular user has. So we're going to make it dynamic, but for the time being we are just doing hard code. So in that I'm going to paste the address of the token. So I have this token, so let's come here. This is the two token we have created. So let's quickly import that, get this width token. First one is this width, and the second one we have is this, and this is the boot token. We have simply copy and paste here the boot token in a string, and the third one we have this our live token. So these are the three token. For the time being we are just doing hard code, and this looks fine. Now let's come down. Now we have to get the fetch data. So now we have to fetch couple of data. So when a user will come to our application, we have to display the information about him, that what is the portfolio, what is the balance, all those things. So we have to build a functionality for that. So let's call it fetch data, and let's create the function. I'll say fetching data async function, and we'll have this sim try and catch, and we have to console log out the entire error. Look fine. The first thing we have to do is to get the account, and we have the account here. So we have our user account, and we have to set the account. So this is the account of a user who will connect to our application. We have the account. Now let's say get user account. This will become the create provider. So we need to create a provider so he can interact. So let's say web3 model away new web3. We have to build our connections. Inside the connection we have to pass the connect. Now we have to build the provider. It's new ether dot provider and web3 provider. In that we have to pass the connection. So we have our provider. Now we have to check the balance of that user. So const will say balance await provider dot get balance. In that we have to pass the user account so I can get his balance. So once I have his balance, it will come in the form of big number. So I have to convert that. So let's come here. We have to do the console log first. Let me show you that what we get exactly. So let's come here. Let's start the application and open up your terminal and split your terminal. And in the first terminal, you have to run your local blockchain. So npx hard at node. And on the other hand, we have to start the dev environment. So npx run dev and hit enter, open in the browser. And so everything is working fine. Let's open the logs, and you can see I have to connect with my MetaMask. Let me log in my credential. Let me log in, unlock, and this is my first account. Open it, go back to the second account, and that's what I have. So simply reload the browser and inspect element, go to the console logs, and right now I don't have anything. Reload the browser. Okay, why nothing is happening? So simply come here. Okay, my bad, I have to call this function. Simply copy, and we have to call this function use effect, and in that we're going to call this function. If you come here, reload the browser, and here you can see we got this big number. So it's working fine. We have this big number and it's working fine. So now we have to simply convert this into a readable format. So what we can do is get rid of this, and we can say convert balance. We're going to use this big number from, and that we have to pass the balance, and we have to call this to string method. Once we get done with that, we have to simply console log out the balance to show you. So this is the huge number we have, it's in the string, and now we have to simply convert this into a readable format. So you can see we have a lot of zeros, so we have to define that how many ether it has. So let's come here and let's convert that. So we'll say ether value ether.utils, in that we have a function ethers.utils, in that we have this function format ether, and in that we're going to simply pass the convert balance and simply log it, and you can see we have this 10,000 ether. We have successfully converted that. That's the exact amount we have. So we got our ether. That looks good to me. Simply copy, and that's what we have set as a ether value. Now we have to get the data of all the accounts, all the tokens, all token balance, the token we have designed. So let's write the function for that. So we have the add token, the array. We're going to loop over it, map element I, and that we're going to take a variable. So first give the comment getting contract. So let's get the contract first, contract, and we have this ether.contract, and in that we're going to use this. So we have our, let's say, element, the address, and we're going to provide the ABI. So if you come here, and this is the two ABI we have, but the reason why I'm using the second ABI ERC21, because in that we have the two function, getting the name and the supply name or symbol. So I'm using this ERC20, and we have to pass the provider. This will give us the contract. So let me simply console log out the contract. So if we save it, if we come back to the browser, you can see here we got the contract, 3 contract. If you open this, in that you will have this first token, the address, which is a WETH. That if you close it, this one is the token we have created, our 2 token. So it's working fine. So let's come here. Let me give the comment. We have to fetch the balance of this token. So we can say something like const user balance. We have to get the balance, so we'll have the contract, and that we call balance of, and we have to pass the user account, the person who's interacting. It's going to be async function, and again we have to simply convert this. So here we are getting an error. What? Okay, this is the problem we are having. So what I can do is, let's come here and simply come here, and we have to take a very value token lift. We'll say big number from, and we have to convert this balance string. Once we convert that, we have to simply do one thing. We have to say convert token balance. We have to convert into ether token left. So that looks good. Simply copy and paste here, and let's try to log out. Still we are getting the same error, but we are getting the balance is 0, and I know why it's happening, because right now we don't have anything. So we are getting the balance. If I open this one, and here you can see this is the token which I have already imported, and we don't have anything in that. So what we can do is, let's come here. So simply copy, and let's try to import it. Click here, import this one, and it says that token has already been added. Okay, it's already added. What we can do, refresh the browser, and still we are getting the same error. What I want to do is, let's come here and let's open up your terminal, stop the application from running, and let's try to deploy the contract one more time. and I guess we get the same addresses. You can see the addresses are same for the tokens and the swap. So all these addresses are same. Let's try to compare it one more time. So this is 70 and this is 6F. This is the single swap token. So this one is same. So this is the life 6565. Okay, it's good. Now we have this one. Simply copy this one is, and it's same. Simply copy this one as well, multi-hop, and this is also same. Okay, no changes we have in our addresses. Now you can close this one and let's start the development. So npm run dev, hit on this, open in the new browser, and just wait. We have no error. Go to the inspect element and click on this console, and boom, you can see everything's working fine. We got our token balance. If I open MetaMask, okay, this one is taking a little bit time. If you can see, this is, we are in the account 2 and we have paid a little bit gas amount for deploying the contract. That's why the ether is not 10,000, it's less. So it's working fine. It's working fine. And if I scroll down here, you can see we have these 2 tokens and the name is different. And the reason the name is different is because I was already created in other project and I got the same address in that project as well. That's why the name is there. Okay, no problem. What we can do is, if the name is different, we can simply click on this, and simply we can hide this token. Hide. We do the same thing for this token as well and hide it. So the 2 tokens are gone. If you refresh the browser, you can have the balance. And if you really want to import the token we have created, simply grab the addresses and import it. This time you will get the right name. Hit enter. You can see the name is displaying Boo and add token. So right now we have this Boo token. Do the same thing for the other one. Copy, paste here, and here we have that live token. And the reason why it was not working in the first place, because I was not deployed. Actually, I would deploy the contract, but I got an error and I stopped the application from running. And when I restarted the application, I did not deploy the contract. That's why we were not getting the token. So if you still have any error, make sure to delete the artifacts, redeploy the contract. It will work fine. So things are looking good. So right now, if I copy and try to import it, and this address is for the mainnet. So we are working on the forknet, and this is the real address, so which we can't use in the local host. So that's why you are getting this error. So simply remove this. What we can do, simply comment this, because we don't have any ether in that, and that's why we are getting that error. So simply comment this, and you can see the 2 token, we have the balance is working fine. So bring this one down and simply remove this. And here we have that. Let's try to get the data. So get name and symbol. So we have the balance. Now we have to get the name and the symbol. So let's say custom symbol, contract symbol, and let's get the name. So contract name await. So this is the name and symbol it will provide. Once we have the name and symbols, we're going to take our data array, token data array, and in that we're going to push all this. So we have to push this. So we want to push the name, we want to push the symbol, and we want to push the token balance. And we have called token balance. What we have called converted token balance. Paste here. Okay, so that looks fine. We have the data. Once we have the data, simply console log out the data that we are getting that or not. So let's console log out the data, and here you can see we are getting those data. Refresh the browser, and here you can see we have the array. If you open that, it's rendering twice, but we're going to fix this one. You can see this is the first token we have. The name is LF, the symbol is Boo, and the total supply is balance is given. If I open the second one, is also LF. Maybe I have not changed the name of the token, so it's working fine. You can see we have the Boo symbol and life. So this is the name, this is the symbol, and this is the token balance. If you look at the second one, this is also have the same name. So maybe I have done something wrong in the contract. So if I come here and if I go into the contract in the boo token, and that's my bad, actually I haven't provided the name, I haven't changed the name, it's LF. So just keep it like this for the time being. We're going to do the changes at the end when we'll actually deploy to the Gorilla test network. So let's leave it like it. It's working fine. We can easily able to fetch the data and we can store as an array, so we can display in our front end application. So that looks fine to me, and that's the data we have. Now let's come here. No, we need more data. So if I come here, and this is, you can see we have this width and die. So we have to fetch this token data as well for the time being, because when we go to do the single swap or multiple hop, we're going to do between these two token. So let's get the balance of these two token as well. So what we can do, let's scroll down and we can get the data here. So we'll say die balance, and we have to interact with the contract. So we have the contracts. So this is the with WITH. We have to call, say, die, and in that we're going to simply pass the die to see the contract. So let's come here, and this is the contract. It's working fine. You can see this is the contract we got, die. It's actually width, so let's replace it with width. So, and here we're going to say width balance, width dot balance of, and that we have to pass the user account, and simply grab this part because we have to convert this balance into a readable number. So this is width, that's the balance we're going to provide here, and we're going to change the name. We'll say width token, and that's what we're going to pass it here, converted. So we're going to say width. So we have to have our width token, simply call this set die, and in that we're going to simply pass this, simply pass this one, set die, replace this one. So it's look good, we don't have any error, everything's working fine. Replicated, and this will become width, and let's see what's the name I have given. So sometime it happens. Okay, so this is die, copy that one, and that's what we're going to paste it here. And here we have to make the changes. Instead of width, we have to call it die, DAI die, and we have to simply change the name. So this is set die, and what happened? So set width 9. So that's what I'm going to call it here, set width 9, and here we're going to simply call this console.log, and I want to log out the die and the width. So this is the data we want to take. So it's a width 9 and die 9. So okay, so simply come here, paste here width 9, and this become die contract, and this become also contract. So it's become very easy to read, contract, and this become contract. And this is the spelling mistake I have done. It's a DAI, and here I have called DIA. So simply change this one, change this DAI, and this will become DAI, and here we have to do the changes. So this has become DAI, and this is also a DAI. So make sure to do these changes. And if I refresh the browser, and here you can see an empty balance. The reason why we are getting this empty, because we don't have any balance in our die and the width. Everything's working fine. So let's read the browser, still we are getting the same thing. So the things are working fine. So just we keep it like this for the time being, and let's paste here, and you can see the balance we are getting is 0. Fine, it's fine. Here we are getting the balance. So simply come here and remove that. Things are looking fine to me in this fetch data function. So let's clear it, and I know it's a huge function. So simply grab this account and we have to pass it here so we can receive in other places. So simply remove this one, we don't need it, and we have to simply simply close this function, and we have to get this width 9, we have to get this die, we have to get this connect network, and we have to get this as well, ether. That looks fine, and I think I'm missing something, so remove this one. So these are the things we have. Open this one, and now I forgot to write one more function. We have to get the name of the network. So what we can do, let's come here and let's get the name of the network. So we can come here, let me give the command get network name, const will say network, wait, we have the provider, and then we can call this simple function get network. It will give you the network name, and we have to set that network name, network.name. If you console log out the network.name, you can see we are connected with this unknown network because we are using our localhost, and this is a chain ID. So sometimes you have to do this configuration in our hardhat config file or in your metamask if you encounter any type of error. But whatever we are covering right now, you have to follow the exact step whatever I'm following. You have to install exact packages whatever we have installed. So things are looking fine. If you reload the browser, you can see we got the chain ID and the network name. Looking fine to me. Oh, that looks pretty good. So that's the network name we have, and so far things are looking good to me. So that's the only thing I want to cover about this fetch data. With that said, let's move to the next video.